Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of The Creative Niche. Today, we have Tim Copsey from Paulding County Economic Development. Welcome to the podcast, Tim.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you guys asking me to be on.
Yeah. So our history goes back quite a few years.
It does.
Yeah.
We started back probably, I was trying to think about this, probably back in 15, 16, somewhere in there where we were talking glass and seeing what we could do to help you out as you guys were just taking off with tempered glass needs. And I was at Paragon Tempered Glass then in Antwerp.
Yeah.
And it's just, having just toured your facility, the growth is amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Appreciate it. And with Paragon, it was really a symbiotic relationship for us. I mean, not so much probably for you guys because you was so big, but at the time you really was able to help us as a smaller company take that next step into, that tempered glass. I mean, we've been doing stained glass for, 36, 37 years now. But when it came to the manufacturing side, I mean, that's really where we was starting in manufacturing, but Paragon helped us out a lot.
Well, the symmetry was, the timing and symmetry was incredible because we were looking to figure some things outside the box, and you guys had reached out to see if there was a way we could work that together. And through that and through some trial and error, we were able to figure it out and get you guys to a next level. And, that's not there today because you guys have been able to grow into that. But it was a good fit for both of us. And it gave us some testing on things that we needed to be understanding and checking out and push the parameters a little bit, but yet help out our neighbors and our small businesses in the area.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. When we, you always heard the term, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Or I like to say it's not what you know, it's who you know, or who you're willing to ask or talk to. Because people are people, and in most cases, they want people to succeed just like, we would want to, be able to help somebody else along the way. And that's the fun part about being in business is reaching that hand out and saying, what way can we help you guys? And because once you kind of hit that being successful side, it's fun to reach down and pull the next guy up.
It is. And sales is, you can be a salesman or you can be a networking person. And as you and I both are in that networking realm, yes, we want to make some money by selling. But then we also want to go to the next step and help each other out. And you might know some people down the road that you say, hey, you need to call these guys and see what they can do for you. And vice versa, when people call us and say, no, that's not really our niche, but we got this really cool guy, Jason, that we know, you should call him and see how that works.
And just reach out and ask questions.
Yeah.
In my experience, sales has been, it's necessary for every business, right? If you can't sell your product, I mean, you're not going to go. So, I mean, you have to be able to sell the product. But ultimately, I found in my sales tactics, you have to first identify the need. Like, what are you after? Or what's your problem? How do you fix it? And once you identified how to fix it, then you educate your client, on what it's going to take to get from point A to Z, whatever. And then once you've identified it and you've, told them how it's going to be fixed, you lay out the process. And then at that point, it's up to them whether they decide to move forward. And if you did your job really good on educating them and they see value in your company and you have the capabilities of doing that, people typically, you don't have to ask for the sale at that point. They choose you.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I think, 100%, Jason. And I think there's even a step before that you and I are both aware of and do is building relationships. And even though someone might call and make a direct call and say, hey, I need this. I need this product or I need this something that's going to help us get to the next step. Let's take a step back and tell me who you are. Tell me what you're about. Tell me what it is that we're trying to accomplish in the overall end game. When I first started I was in the quality department at the time, went into sales.
Was you at Paragon this whole time?
I was. So I started there in 1985, and I was 10 years in before I got into the quality department. So around 1995, I started getting to travel a little bit with the salesman that was there. And I heard this salesman, having been working on the production floor for 10 years, I knew what could be done and what wasn't going to be able to be done. And this salesman wasn't quite as aware of that. And so he was starting to make some promises or to say some things that I knew we could not do. And I told myself, if I ever get into a role where I'm sitting across from a customer like that, I'm going to be 100% honest and tell you what it is that we can do. And you know what? You're not going to like it sometimes because it's not on your timeline. You're not going to like it sometimes because we might have screwed up and we're trying to make amends, but it still takes time to make those amends. But I'm going to tell you that up front today, right now, and get the heated part of the conversation out of the way, because at the end of the day, you're going to be able to schedule accordingly. You're going to be able to do the things going forward based on the timeline that I gave you that I know we can do.
Yep.
And then, you know, as we're doing that, you're learning that I'm going to be an honest guy, and that we're going to have a relationship based on that, good conversation or bad. You're going to be able to trust me, and we're going to be able to move forward together. And that was huge in my networking.
People underestimate the the knowledge you gain just by going through all the processes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you can tell the people that's worked in the industry from the ground level up because of the knowledge that they have.
Yeah.
And also ultimately, when people are buying, they're buying you and they're buying your expertise, right? Not just the product.
Yes.
So many times, you know, people are like, well, I can get that somewhere else for less money, right? I mean,
Exactly.
we've all heard of this sales people. We've all heard it.
We've all.
But do you trust what that person is telling you? Can they really deliver?
Yeah.
Do they have the facility to do it? Or are they just telling you because they want to call for that sale?
That's right.
You know, and like you said, I mean, I think the worst experience as a salesman is selling something that you can't deliver on, and then you having to go back and explain to that client why we can't do that.
Yes.
I thought we could, sorry. And then you've put that client back. They're not going to forget it.
Yep.
Right?
And I remember being back in my production days, there were times when I'd been there 2, 3, 4 years that I thought, you know what, I could be doing the next level of thing. I could be going on. And the supervisors there kind of squashed that and kept me in place. And, you know, the Lord has ways of working through us that we don't always see right out of the gate. I was frustrated personally that I wasn't getting to climb the ladder quick enough. But at the end of the day, what I learned in those 10 years of working production was critical for what I needed for the next step. And they knew that. They could see it. I couldn't. I'm anxious. I want to. And now in today's world, the kids jump jobs. Right. You know, instead of following through with that plan and learning the process to a T for a little bit longer than you probably think you should, you jump jobs for pay or for knowledge, but then you don't gain that tribal knowledge that you need to be able to do the good things going forward.
And I'm gonna double back on that a little bit. So, you know, you was in a position where you had supervisors, because Paragon was a big company.
Yep.
I mean, couple hundred people.
At one time, we were at 300.
300. So you had 300 people.
Yep.
And so you had these supervisors, and so you was growing in your skills and your talents, and felt like you needed to move up. You know, in us, we started. My mom and dad started the company, right? So we was a smaller company. We're still a smaller company. We're more of a niche company. We're a hybrid contractor in most cases.
Sure.
Not just glass, not just wood, not just metal.
All
everything in between.
Yeah.
You know. So, but there is a different dynamic where I worked in the field a lot. I'd go out with the guys. I would hit the job sites. I would learn everything just like what you did, probably at a younger age. Well, maybe, I don't know, you was probably 18?
Yeah, I was.
When you started?
Yep.
So here I started doing some small stuff, things that we was allowed to do around 15. And then by the time I hit 18, I had a general knowledge. 18, you started running crews. And you knew that your older people, your older workers, you know, you had to, I won't say work harder, but work just as hard, put more hours in, really dedicate yourself.
Yep.
And through that, you gained a lot of respect from these older workers because they realized that, hey, they're here right where their metal meets the meat, so to speak. And so I built that trust with my older workers, even though I was at some, you know, small family company. What happens is, you know, you do move up the ladder a little bit faster because I guess our mom and dad was they're the owners,
and you
right?
had to prove yourself even double because he's just mom and dad's son. He's entitled, but you proved yourself double to gain their respect and also show that it's not my name that's got me here; it's my knowledge and experience.
Right. And so now it's hard to detach from all that work that I've done because now I feel like when you step out of that role, you feel like I'm putting more of a burden on these people because now I'm going and I'm doing the sales and the estimating and the talking but you have to learn to let go.
You do.
Right?
Absolutely.
How hard was that for you, Tim?
It was really hard.
Okay, because it was really hard for me to say, okay, we've built this standard. Now we're going to give it to you guys.
Yep.
And the guys have done a great job, and I'm really proud of our team. But it is hard.
It is. And as I transitioned into sales, and I had been there 20 years then, started transitioning into sales and got my feet wet and understood what I was doing. I was bringing these outside the box things, sometimes things we'd never done before, but we were trying to grow the business, right? And that was my task. So I knew that we could do it. I knew that there were ways that we could do some things different to get it done. But to your point, I didn't want to burden the guys out on the floor with that kind of new thing. So I was making the sale and going out sometimes and doing the parts myself. Because I could, but it became it wore me down, and that's why I stepped away from the glass factory into economic development. In 2019, I decided that I was ready to sleep in my own bed every night, and not be traveling around the country, and I was ready to use my knowledge here more local rather than on a national basis.
How far did you travel nationally? I mean, did you go to California? I mean,
I was the traveling guy, so I did all 50 states, wherever the business was, wherever the shows
So it wasn't
were.
regional.
Oh, no. I mean,
you was everywhere.
And then I did 4 provinces of Canada.
Man, oh man.
So wherever there was a problem or an issue. But it was, again, back to the Lord guiding you in good ways. It was all a learning experience for what I do today. I was able to make a network of people that is incredible that I use every day. And then I also was able to go out and a lot of times they'd say, we got a quality problem. Your glass is wrong. So you'd fly out and you'd go see what was going on. And guess what? Our glass matched exactly what you asked for. Your frame or your something is wrong on your end. And I can't just say, well, you're wrong, I'm leaving.
You got to go.
You've got to work with them. And we've had the relationship, so they worked with me. Let me show you how you could do this better on your side to make this glass you asked for fit, or vice versa. Maybe you didn't, what you want is exactly what you wanted, but you didn't expect the glass to do what it does, and now we've got to make it fit. So we're going to have to make some adjustments on our end, but it was what you asked for in that order.
So I assume, like on a big client, you're gonna assume that expense, or did you, did you pass that expense? Hey, we hit it exactly on dead nuts, so it's your expense.
So we would have those conversations. Each one was individual as to how we were going to do it and who the customer was, right?
Yep.
But because of the relationship, a lot of times I could say to them, we created what you wanted. You're going to go ahead and pay for this, but we will do it again for you at the new model that you want and pay for that. And, if we could show them in a manner that was very acceptable to both of us, that it wasn't always our issue, then we could do that. And certainly if it was our issue, we ate it and made it right and go on.
Yeah, I mean, if it's our problem, then we fix it, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's how
business works.
That's how business works. But when they call you out and what they asked for was right, really that shouldn't be your expense.
Right.
But like you said, depending on the client,
if
and you've been a good customer and we want you to know that we're a resource and not just a manufacturing, then you do what you got to do.
You had to do.
But business is tough. I mean, when I with our current business, I mean, you don't win every time.
Oh no,
you're not going to win every time, and that's okay.
Yep.
I mean, failure is part of business.
Failure is, and so is estimates. You do a lot of estimates that you never see reward from, but you're always going to continue to do those quotes and estimates because
you have to.
The ones that bite are the ones that keep you going and growing like you are.
Right. Yeah, and you take care of good clients.
Sure.
If you got that one really pain in the butt client, I guess, it's okay if they keep going or it's okay if they don't.
Yeah.
And we know, and I'm not saying that in a malicious way. You have to weed through
you do.
who's the right people to do business with. if somebody's not honest, you don't
Yes.
want to do business with that person for very long.
That takes us all the way back to the beginning, Jason. As you're building that relationship before the first sale and you're understanding each other, you can feel some of that out ahead of time and be able to circumvent bigger issues down the road.
Yep. So sales, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, a lot of people. I think that's why we like sales, right? We like people.
I love networking.
Yeah, it's fun.
So when I was 18 and started at the glass factory, I also became a basketball and baseball official for high school sports.
Okay.
And so,
boo, wrestling. No, I'm just
again,
kidding.
as we talk about our network and getting to know people, officials have a great brotherhood, brother sisterhood. And so you get to know those guys and girls that you're working with on a great scale. And lo and behold, I did baseball for 29 years. I did basketball for 34. This is my second year sitting out. And now I realize that all of those people, most of those people that I was working with, I still have a deep connection with. Some were mayors, some were commissioners, some were village councilmen, some were village administrators. So when somebody says, hey, you need to call to this, we need to connect with somebody in the neighboring county or 2 or 3 counties away at this village, hey, I got a contact. And I call them up and say, hey, here's the issue we're having. Who could we talk to at your village? Sometimes it's them directly, or they say, hey, call this person. I'll tell them you're calling. And those connections to make that speed happen, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the officials don't get enough credit. I mean, they get crap from everybody. You probably get it from everybody. You get it from the coaches, the players, the fans. But there has to be a lot of rewarding stuff. I've seen really good officials, and I've seen them take a really ugly situation and they really diffuse that situation, and that's cool to see too. I mean, I see it a lot in the wrestling. I mean, people get really passionate. They're especially at the lower age levels. You got dads and stuff that are coaching.
I always felt it was tougher at the lower levels because those parents still thought their kids had a chance at the NBA or the NFL or the Major League Baseball. As you get older and you get into junior high and early high school, you realize there's a lot of good kids out there. Yes. My kid maybe isn't as good as I thought. Now, that's not to say that they aren't still passionate for wanting every call to be right every time. But you could see it that it would get better as they got older. Yeah. And back to building relationships. If I had a relationship with the coaches, which I did build over the years, they too would help you work through. They know you're not going to get every call right every time. No. But they also know that at the other end of the court, that's not happening every time either. And it all evens out. If you just lay back and let it play out, it all plays out.
Yeah. And business is the same way. Dad always talks about, you have jobs that you make better money on, jobs that you make less money on. At the end of the year, it all washes out. You just don't worry about it.
That's right.
So it's kind of a life lesson right there.
It is. and that's what sports teaches us.
Yep. So what in the economic development in Paulding County, right? So what do you see coming down the pipeline? What do you see going on in Paulding County? What do you see in the growth of maybe even Paulding and Van Wert County coming? Coming in unison. I'll let you kind of speak on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we in 2019, November of 2019, I started in this role, and one of the first things, being a lifelong resident of Paulding County, I knew some of the mantras and some of the good and some of the bad. Right. Mm-hmm. One of the things that was always tough is we have 11 villages. We don't have one city. Paulding is our biggest village. They don't have enough to qualify 3,500 people as a city.
Okay.
So we've got 11 villages from, the village of Scott, which is half in our county and half in Van Wert County, and has about 35 people in our county, all the way up to just short of 3,500. So everybody always thought that we were focusing on Paulding. We're not focusing on everything. Mm-hmm. And so I had to build we chose Paulding County Strong is our mantra. We are Paulding County Strong together as a group. So we reinvigorated the mayor's meeting where we bring invite all 11 mayors to attend and sit down at the table together. Mm-hmm. And when we had those first meetings, there were arms folded, looking across the table at each other. I'm not going to work with them. They beat us in 1972 in basketball, you know,
Oh, no.
something crazy.
Fort Jennings and Ottoville then.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, those schools have dissipated. We've only got 3 high schools left in our county, Wayne, Trace, Paulding, and Antwerp.
Right.
And
Where's Hicksville fall?
they are just across the line in Defiance County.
Defiance County.
Just 3 miles over the line.
Okay.
So then, you know, you started to unify these people and help them understand that what is going on in this village can benefit you on the county level. We just have to accept that. Mm-hmm. So we built all that up. It took a couple years, but now it's very solid. Real good unity amongst the group. Sometimes I don't even entertain the mayor's meetings anymore. I let them just sit and talk and share ideas and what's working there, what's not working there. Have you tried this? Did you try this? Did it work? Did it fail? What is all that? So that's all building up in the background. In the meantime, we knew that we don't have a whole bunch of people knocking down the door in Paulding County to be businesses, you know?
Yep.
Especially small businesses were pretty good.
Well, they're probably pretty tough to get enough people to bring
Exactly.
a big
Yep.
company
We're
in.
the 6th smallest county in Ohio.
Okay.
18,800 people.
Okay.
So the big folks aren't knocking down our doors, the big manufacturing
Right.
people, because they feel that we don't have the workforce pool that would suffice. So what we've done is we've connected with all of our businesses, as you and I have met even since I've left the glass factory before, making sure that in the region, everybody has what they need to grow and sustain. Mm-hmm. And that's important to us because we want our businesses to stay. But in the meantime, we also know that we want to grow the county. So we've got a 53-acre industrial park that we now have Ohio Site certified, which means all the due diligence is done. The wetlands are all tested. The archaeological, there's no history there that would stop development. We've got all the utilities to the site. So now we've got 53 acres there that we're going to be able to offer to anyone that wants to come in. We did, unfortunately, lose a company, Spartech, 102 jobs left. They consolidated 2 plants, and they chose to work in Greenville, Ohio.
Okay.
So I've got a 72,000 square foot facility that's open for business.
Probably got docks and everything
Yeah,
already?
everything's there.
Yeah.
Everything's ready to go there. So we're marketing that. We've got then right across the county line in Defiance County on US 24, the southern border of this 1,200-acre site is in the Paulding County line. And so there's going to be a new facility there that manufactures toilet paper. Mm-hmm. They're going to build a 1.2 million square foot facility that will employ 400 people in phase 1. And we're looking at 1,000.
Big. So they got to draw off of Defiance County, though.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have to draw off of Defiance County.
Yep.
But it'd be great for Paulding County.
Oh,
you know,
being that close to our county line, it's huge.
The other thing is I know, and just like you're bringing your villages together, you as the economic development there in Paulding County, you probably have a lot of intrinsic interest in helping Van Wert County and Putnam County and Defiance County because you know that your population will benefit from that.
Yeah.
Having that, you got to be pro-business, right?
Right.
I mean, economic development, you're pro-business, right?
So we have a group called
awesome.
NORED, Northwest Ohio Regional Economic Development. So there's 17 of us counties that meet together there. And then our economic development leaders from each of those counties, we meet all the time. And then the local ones, Putnam, Van Wert, Defiance, Paulding, Williams, Henry, and Fulton, we meet on the side additionally because just to your point, we're a brother sisterhood of people that need to help each other in the region. And it doesn't do any good if Defiance County is bringing 400 people online to work and not notifying us because what does that do for our workload and our people? Yeah. Same with working with Bren in Van Wert County. You know, he's working on those data centers. He's got other things going on. You've brought in new business. It can't be a shock to us. We need to have those conversations early to make all that happen.
Yeah, yeah, and it's good. Like you said, networking is paramount.
Yeah.
What you asked your villages to do, you're also practicing what you're preaching,
we
right?
are.
So, and you're just going at a step higher.
Yep.
because it shouldn't be always just that competition of we want it. It's all got to be about us, because at that point it's not networking anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think we do it well at the economic development level, but I think our commissioners could probably learn for some things from each other if they would all sit around a table and do more of this too, because at the end of the day, yes, each county has their own economy, but at the same time, we need all of our economies to mesh around here for workforce, for dollars, for everything that's going on, to make sure we're all aware and supporting each other.
So economic development as far as incentives and stuff, what's the local government, the state government doing to help you guys attract more businesses? I mean, not just maybe you, but counties in general.
Yeah. Well, Jobs Ohio, because it is supported by the Ohio liquor taxes, all the profits made on that goes to Jobs Ohio, which they use for incentives. Now, so far, I've gotten a pretty good idea and a pretty good list of how all those things fall into place and what we can offer. If the property tax abolishment happens, that's all going to change, and it's all going to be the Wild West for a minute while we try and figure that out.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think about that? Good, bad, ugly.
Do I think we need reform? I absolutely do. I am nervous that if it goes 100% away,
where are we going to get that money?
Where are we going to get that money and sustain what we have? And again, there can be reform both for the way we spend and the way we collect, but without a plan in place, there's no one that has come forward and said, if this goes away, here's the plan. If it stays, here's the plan. We're not hearing that.
You would hope that they would get together and say, okay, if we abolish this is where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And if it's going to go here, is that going to be a better fit than a worse fit?
Yep.
And like you said, I think there's definitely some reform that had to happen.
Yes.
I mean, when people that's had their houses paid off, elderly people, and then they're on a fixed budget, and they're, now all of a sudden these property taxes went like crazy on them, and
definitely,
what do you do? What do you do? I mean, I think I talked to Thad about this, on our podcast. It's not even out yet, but I said, once you buy that gallon of milk and you drink it, you don't keep paying tax on it. So what do we do there? But with that being said, you're still living at your home.
Yeah.
You're still using that property.
Yeah.
It's not completely consumed at that point.
Right.
So I look at it at all the angles, and
Yeah.
I'll have some people be like, I can't believe it. What are you doing? And then other people will think the opposite. No, we do need that. I think the problem was it got overtaxed there for a while.
I agree.
And I think that's where the people got upset.
Yep.
And everybody sees all the fraud and abuse that government's done, and so everybody's a little bit hedging their bets on that. And where do we go with that?
Time will tell.
Hopefully, we'll figure it out.
Yep.
I've heard even at the state level, DeWine say something, and maybe I'm misquoting this, and maybe it's hearsay, but I think he said something along the lines of our sales tax would have to go to 20% to compensate for the property tax. Is that accurate, or am I hearing that wrong?
No idea. I mean, that's where I want to hear the people that are in the financial place in the state say, if this happens, here's where we're going to have to be. And I cannot believe that it can be across the board. I can't believe that Van Wert County and Paulding County could be at the same sales tax, let alone Franklin County or Montgomery or Hamilton. I feel that it has to be some kind of adjusted inflationary thing for population size and sales tax, but time will tell.
Time will tell. Yeah. Those are tough questions for government people. I mean, on what do we do now? Because evidently our constituents are not happy with something. So, man, where was we? We got off on a rabbit trail. Maybe I'll pull these notes back out.
We were talking a little bit about Paulding County.
Yeah. So, speaking of Paulding County, did you know that we've done some work at your cemeteries in Paulding County?
Yes, I am aware of the Live Oak project in Paulding Village. It sounds like maybe there's some others as well.
Yeah, I know we have Columbarium system over there. And, I thought it was at Memorial Cemetery, but I could have it wrong.
Yeah.
I've not involved in every project, but I know we have a Columbarium system over there.
And back to Jason, when we started here and working together, you were doing 1-unit systems that were beautiful.
Yep.
But my gosh, what we saw today on the tour and how big they've gotten and how incredible, and then some layouts of some things you've got going on at bigger cemeteries. Congratulations and kudos to you guys for taken this to a whole nother level. And I mean, everything you've done from one unit on has been beautiful, but to see these big units like this, gosh, that's great.
Well, you know what we're finding, Tim, is we originally started with a manufactured product that we knew it was a good product, and we would sell those to, you know, our cemeteries locally here, and it was 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit type, you know, purchases for these cemeteries. But now we're starting to move into some of the bigger markets where they have more capacity, they have more draw.
Yeah.
They have more need for columbarium systems because in the cities, you know, sometimes real estate's a limiting factor. You have lots of people, less real estate, so you go up. Sometimes that doesn't have anything to do with it. Sometimes these city cemeteries or Catholic cemeteries have tons of room, but that's where the demographic is going.
Yeah.
You know, with the cremation, I think even in our area, 55% are being cremated, roughly.
Yeah.
You get it to the cities, it's a lot higher.
Sure.
70, 80% of people are being cremated, if I understand the statistics correctly. And so that need's there. So they have to have a place to accommodate these people that are being cremated. And so they're buying these columbarium systems.
Yeah. The expense is there. So, you know, you're measuring what you can afford, and you guys are making a beautiful option that's affordable. So
yeah,
I can only see it growing from here.
Yeah, that's the 1 unit we're pitching right now. It's not 1 unit; it's a whole group of units to one city cemetery, but it's 56 feet long.
Yeah,
that's 50. Yeah, 56 feet long, 500 and some niches. You know, with artwork incorporated, and that's the thing is with the columbarium, if it's always been granite or marble or something that's gray, black, rose, you know, granite type colors. But by using that full color, we're really able to offer that hybrid product that we're kind of known for, is not just being honed in on one.
And talking with your whole group, you know, you guys have built a relationship with this group you're working with. You're sharing ideas, they're giving you feedback, and you're going to get to a point where at the end it's going to be exactly what they wanted. They can see it through all of your artwork and technique, and they're going to know what they're getting, and they know it's a good product here. So, again, kudos.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know as well as I do. Yeah. You know, when you do a new product for a new client, just that
the excitement.
The excitement. It's not just the same. It's not the status quo. It's and we need those.
Yep.
You need those where things are just a manufacturing process to keep the company always flush with work.
Yep.
You know, which is
keep that pipeline full.
Got to keep that pipeline full. But there's also those really cool custom projects or different projects or projects that push you that in the moment you're like, this sucks. You know? But then on the other end, you're like, wow, that was really cool. I'm glad we did it because look at the offerings that we're able to do now because we was pressed.
Yeah, and you learn from that, and you learn what you like to see happen, and maybe it's something that even if you don't like it, you've learned from it that you can do better the next time.
Or say no.
Or say no.
Yeah.
That's not a bad option either. If it's so time consuming and expensive that you say no, you know that going in next time, and you can be honest with your customer right out of the gate.
Yep. There was a job here on the stained glass side one time where we had to create this really custom frame, and it was a really complicated frame, and we didn't know that we could make this frame, and we was concerned about it. You know, these radiuses, we're talking about 3.5 inch wide aluminum extrusion that we had to bend in like a 12-inch radius. Oof. Really super tight without blistering it, without wrinkling it, and making it look at the quality that we're looking to do. And I'll never forget, we got the prints from the architect, and they showed us what they wanted. And we said, can we make some modifications to make this easier? And they said, no, it's a historic building. We want it to look the same. And we said, okay, well, you're going to have to come to our facility and we're going to have to talk to you about it before we progress on it. Well, we had the prints. So we brought the prints back here and we built one. We built this. We built the frame before they got here.
Gotcha.
And because we wanted to know that if we're going to have you sign, we got to know that we can produce it and that it's going to look good and it's going to look right. So we gave them the whole tour and the plan, just kind of like what you kind of got this morning, to bring some understanding of who we are and what we can do. And we ended the tour at that department, and we had completely built this frame, width, height, all the inner workings
of it. Knocked their socks off.
And we got there and we said, does that frame look familiar? And they were like, oh, it kind of looks like the frames we was looking at. I said, well, it's your frame. And he said, no, it's not. said, "You don't think I was born yesterday?" and we took the tape measure off our belt and we handed it to him. We said, "Measure it."
Yeah.
And I mean, the blood just drained out of his face. He's like, "That's our frame." And we said, "Yep, it was our frame," because we didn't want to bid it if we couldn't do it.
Sure.
And so that goes back to us just trying to be honest. I mean, if we couldn't do it, we had to tell them.
Right.
And if we priced it, we wanted to be able to complete it.
That's right.
And not go back halfway through the process and be like, "I know we told you we could do it, but we can't." Never a good look.
Good R&D is always positive.
And at that time, we had probably a week's worth of time of getting it, measured, engineered, fabricated.
Yeah.
It didn't take that long to build it, but the whole process of getting that there, it's all free. I mean, if they didn't buy, we felt the time.
Right.
But we learned something.
You learn from it.
Yep.
Either way.
So anyway, that's where that extra effort really shows. And that day they signed the contract.
No, be darned.
Because they understood that we was going to do it right.
Yep.
But that's the fun part.
It is.
And does that mean every client will, reward you for all the time you put in? No. But that's okay. You win more than you lose. That's the goal.
That's the goal. And that's what keeps feeding you for the next one.
Yeah, there was a book called Asymmetrical Bets. I think that's the book. And I haven't read it at all yet, but I've been told about it. And they said that if the odds are you're going to win 65% of the time, you should take that bet every time.
There you go.
In school, 65% is bad.
Yeah.
But in the real world,
in business,
that I'm going to win more than I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
And it's a different perspective.
It is
than what they teach us, right?
It is. We all have to live and learn from where we were started.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Here's a good one for you. This would be good for you, Tim. Do you have any sales or business advice that you'd like to share with our listeners? Because you've been in the field.
I have.
You've traveled around the country.
Yeah.
And I know we've kind of talked about a lot of that already, but what if you could instill one sales piece of advice, or maybe how did you generate sales? I mean, was it conferences? Was it face-to-face?
Yeah.
Was it, what do you think would be great for somebody that wanted to learn how to
The thing that I use the most is the Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you should listen twice as much as you talk.
Uh-huh.
And if you do that, and back to, again, we always go back to the beginning, talking about the fact that we build networks. You can't build a relationship with someone if you're not listening to them. If you're trying to talk over them, if you're trying to tell them what it is that they're looking for when they already have something in mind that they're looking for, you have to accommodate that. And so I always used that analogy, that try and listen more than I'm speaking. And then back to building business, I think that the network is where it's at. I could go to shows and I could give out my card and I could talk to people, and that was all good. Some of those were fruitful, but the biggest leads that I've ever got are from guys like yourself that I have a relationship with, that says, as you're sitting down at a restaurant for dinner or wherever it is that you are, church or anywhere else, and you're talking business, all of a sudden you say, well, I know a guy.
Yeah.
And if you know them and they trust you, they have a feeling that they may trust me. And I'm doing the same too. When I'm in those conversations all over the county, and somebody says, well, I really need this. Well, guess what? I can't give you that. Our office doesn't produce one thing.
Right.
We're a networking dot connector.
Right.
I can't give you that, but boy, I sure know 1 or 2 guys that can. Call these guys, tell them I sent you, and see where that can go. So that's, I tell kids all the time, build your network wherever you can. The kid that you truly dislike in high school today may be your boss down the road.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're keeping a good open line of communication there so that you can build from that down the road.
Yeah, young people, I think that's a big deal, is that relationships in high school, you're learning how to deal with people.
Yep.
Good, bad, and
Yep.
ugly. Yeah, whether you like all the people in high school or you don't like them, doesn't matter. In the real world, we all have to work together.
Yeah, exactly.
To make things successful. And when you're in a community, it takes a lot of people in the community to make the community what the community is.
Yep.
Right.
And we've had to take that to the county level because our communities are smaller. We don't have a grocery store in every town anymore. We don't have a gas station in every town anymore. Yep. So you've got to work with the neighboring businesses around you, buildings or villages around you, to make sure that you have all that you need. And if all that can work, maybe we can bring something back to you.
Yeah, and talking about Paulding County, I mean, Paulding Putnam Electric is who services us here. That's kind of weird. You know, but we're right on the edge of Putnam and how it all works out. But it's, we sit on the, we're like the tri-point here. You know, like we have Paulding, we have Putnam, we have Van Wert. Right. We're located in Van Wert, but we're next to Putnam. And
we work together in Paulding.
Yeah, and we work together in Paulding.
Yeah.
But Paulding Putnam is a gem.
Oh, gosh. They're huge for us.
So good. I mean, as far as bringing us power when we needed power, as far as them helping us out, you know, so we I don't know if you know this story, but we solicited trying to get power from them, 3-phase power down to our facility a long time ago, probably before this manufacturing facility went in. And they said, well, to bring it that distance, it was going to be an absorbent amount of money. And we're like, at the time we were smaller, and we're like, we just can't justify it. And so one day they was doing some stuff, and they was putting in, because they was like, you're gonna have to pay for the poles, the line, the cross members, everything. We're like, well, and then we had to bring it like 1.5 miles, 2 miles or something. I can't remember, maybe farther, but the number was just too big. And then one day I was driving in Ottoville to get something, and I seen they was putting in new poles in. There you go. Because they was replacing them. Yeah. So we called them up and said, "Hey, you see, you guys are putting poles in. You know what?
Now's a good time.
Now's the time. What can we do? What would the added expense be then?
Yep.
Well, the cost was a lot less because they already had crews that was here in the area, pulling wires, putting posts in, doing all that stuff. And so that number came way down to where it was manageable. And Paulding Putnam worked fantastic with us. I mean, that's just the kind of stuff that you don't get. And I'm not bashing like AEP, but AEP is really big. Yeah. And so and I don't know, AEP is probably for profit. Yeah. And Paulding Putnam, are they not for profit?
They're consumer owned.
Consumer owned.
Their own membership owned.
So the costs, you know, is just, it was just better.
Anything they make goes back to the members.
Correct.
Yeah. So they
worked really good with us, I guess, and awesome. not only because at that time we had them bring us, you know, 240 3-phase, and now we're up to 480 3-phase with the bigger manufacturing equipment. Wow. What a big difference that made for us. So
they're over 7 counties. I mean, even though it's called Paulding Putnam, they're actually over 7 counties in Ohio and Indiana.
Well, they trade. It's weird. They explained it to me one time how they sometimes trade land for this or that.
And so now with them, not only with the power, which is awesome, now they're doing internet.
I seen that.
And so with what they can bring to our rural communities and rural people in the townships, that they can bring in high-speed internet to those folks.
They run it on the wire.
They're running it on the poles, so that it's a lot less expensive than boring it. And we're just excited as all can be because now we have people that were never going to have the opportunity for high-speed internet to be able to have high-speed internet.
Well, how long is it going to take to get to all them country roads, though, or is it just the main roads?
They've got a plan right now. They've got it set up, and you can go to them right now and get in touch with them. They can tell you by zip code. They can tell you by road when you'll see it. And don't get me wrong, it's not all going to be in the next 6 months.
All right.
But at the same time, they are already connecting people, and so it's exciting for the opportunity they bring to the communities.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know a lot about where we grew up, but you knew we went to Wayne Trace, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our roots are, you know, intertwined with Paulding and Van Wert forever. But it's funny. I mean, so is Scott classified as your village? I wanted to touch on that and I forgot.
So the county line splits the village. So half of it is on the north side in our county.
But who gets? I mean, or it doesn't. I mean, it's just split. Does somebody? Does Van Wert or Paulding claim it?
They claim Van Wert. That's where they do their election type stuff. They file their petitions and things. But when grants come up for villages, they can apply for Paulding grants.
What about Van Wert? Can they apply for those too? So they can. They got the best of both worlds.
And I think the state kind of monitors that to make sure they're not be able to double bang it. But they are part of our. We consider them a village and one of our 11. Sometimes I say 10 and a half, but it is 11.
Because the post office is on one side,
which makes them Van Wert, south side,
right? Which makes them Van Wert. But then all the fire station and all that stuff's on the
that's correct
on the north side.
They have Bond Seed, we have the Scott Equity, so it's right down the middle there.
That's crazy. Yeah, I always kind of wondered how that worked with being split like
but
that.
But Mayor Acom, Jeremy Acom, and I, we talk a lot, and we make sure that he's at opportunity every time at the table.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, I knew it was split, but I guess I didn't know if one county claimed it over another.
Nope.
But yeah, Paulding County, good. Yeah, we have a lot of people ask us like, what the heck are you doing out here?
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever got that question,
Well,
but for Paragon, but for us, we would, since we're artistic, people just think we should be in a city, in a big city. Like, why aren't you in a big city?
Right.
You should be in a big city. I mean, that's where all the artistic. This is home.
Yeah. And it's the same. Wayne Trace High School. Everybody says, well, it's out in the middle of a cornfield. Well, yeah, it is. But that was the center point of the school district. They were able to grow and sustain, and we support them wherever they land. And that's the same with you. Yeah. People are supporting you wherever you're located, and good for you to be able to have this opportunity right here.
Yeah, right here, believe it or not. Yeah, we're Paulding County. So
it's exciting.
Yeah. Well, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything, but I think we covered a lot.
We
Tim.
did cover a lot of ground today, Jason. Thanks again for having me. And
this was a lot of fun. This is a good one. We got to hit this,
okay.
Tim. Where do you see Paulding County going in the next 5 to 10 years? Where is it going today, and where's it going in the next 5 to 10?
I think that Paulding County is on a growth trajectory.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because Fort Wayne is booming. The city of Fort Wayne, the airport's growing. They're growing the amount of people there. It's a destination for younger families and kids coming out of college. So we're from Antwerp, Ohio, on US 24.
Right, 30
so
minutes.
I-469. It's 15 4-lane miles.
No way.
Yeah,
it's that close.
It's that close.
Okay.
And so as Fort Wayne grows into New Haven and New Haven grows into Woodburn, Antwerp is just going to be another part of that growth to the east. As that's taking place, and you've got the incredible things that Brett has going on down here in Van Wert, just across the county line, that's growing to our southern side. And then with this toilet paper factory, they're connecting that into the city water at Defiance. So Defiance City is running the water out to that facility. With that growing to the west from Defiance, here we sit right in the middle of all of that. And we've got 3 opportunities to grow right there, let alone what we do internally. So I just think that in the next 5 to 10, we're really going to see some incredible growth.
So what are you going to do about housing? Because that's going to, I mean, that's going to be the next big push.
So we've got 3 facilities right now that are working on housing. Antwerp has 89 acres that a developer bought that is at
Fort
the
Wayne?
intersection of 49 and US 24. It'd be the northwest quadrant of that first intersection in Ohio. So we just applied for a RED grant, a Residential Economic Development District grant, where that could we could get a grant for the sewer, water, and roads to be out in there. To be able to do that, you had to be able to show that you had a minimum of 100 lots ready to build on, and we do. So that's taking off. In Paulding Village, we've got a facility that has 44 lots ready to build on, and an additional 8 acres that we could put some duplexes or apartments on.
Any benefits to building over there? I mean, are you trying to entice investors?
We are doing our best with that, but again, everything's kind of in a holding pattern until we see, is there going to be property taxes to abate, or do we even need abatements because there are no property taxes?
There you go.
So, and then in Payne, a developer bought the second phase of what was the Young Addition out on the west side of town there on 613. There's 24 lots there being developed.
Okay.
So we're trying to accommodate the housing need that we see, again, for all 3 directions. Van Wert, Defiance, and Allen County, Indiana are all going to keep growing. So let's be a bedroom community for that and get some more people in our county.
Yeah, and there was a program that just switched over names in the last couple of years. I can't remember. Is it Grow Ohio, or what is that? It's a business loan.
It's we use what's called the Jobs Ohio Inclusive Grant.
Yeah, there was a different one where it brings your interest rates down. Like it can drop a business loan rate for a couple percent.
Yeah, that's through the treasurer's office there.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are out there too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Businesses.
There's a lot of options out there for businesses. You just have to want to be able to partner up with a Port Authority or Economic Development or Jobs Ohio or whoever's offering it to make sure it works.
Yep. And so the best tool you guys have is tax abatement.
It is at this point.
Yep.
But again,
Not necessarily
see
incentives,
where
just
that
just
goes.
abating.
Yep.
That's the best.
Yep.
Okay. Curious.
All good stuff.
So, all right. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Tim.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's been a lot of fun.
I'm excited for your growth. I'm excited to see the new equipment and things you've brought in, and I'm excited to hear where you're going. So
A lot of different stuff out there in there.
it sure is, and you guys have done a good job of monitoring your business model and what you need, and obviously what you are investing in is what you need, and it's helping take you to the next level and making the bottleneck go somewhere else. And
Yep.
as you track those and fix those, you're doing a great job.
Yep. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, that's this week's episode of The Creative Niche here with Tim Copsey. If you would like to find out a little bit more about Tim, where's the best places they can find out?
If you go to our website, pced.net. PCED stands for Paulding County Economic Development, but we tried to shorten it up.
Yep.
So pced.net would be the best place to go.
Okay. And for everybody out there that's subscribed, we appreciate you. If you like this episode or you'd like to learn more about our companies or Paulding County Economic Development, reach out, but just like, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff that you do. We appreciate you listening. Have a great day.